Hello Homo Sapiens, I'm Isha and welcome to Isha Suggests. It's been 2 months, more than 2 months since we last saw each other. And a lot has happened since then. With me, probably with you, and the world. My 10th board results came out, for which I was stressing out lately. And they turned out to be pretty fine. 2 months is a long break. I have no idea how that happened. Actually, I do. I became sad, gloomy, and disinterested with life in general. Thanks to my sister, who right now is taking a nap, to literally push me to start filming again. And now to my recommendations. Today I will be suggesting you stories that, just like my video, are short and sweet. As we are stuck inside our home and are looking for some sort of escape, this is the best time to read and transport yourself into the world of stories and fantasies. As Anton Chekhov divided all literary work into 2 categories, so do I. The ones I like and the ones I don't. And these stories fall into the former category. Some of these stories were written a long time back and have stood the test of time. Others were crafted by contemporary writers. But each piece will keep you wanting for more. Number 1 on my list is The Shroud by Premchand. Premchand is the king of short stories. Though originally published in Hindi under the name Kafan, this English translation is as brilliant as the original story. Premchand is the one who taught me about rural life and life pre-independence through his marvelous writing. The Shroud might not be his most celebrated work, but surely is my favorite. The story circles around the themes of poverty and meaningless traditions. A father-son duo questions innocently about the tradition which demeans life and glorifies rituals about death, and then justifies the defiance of custom. Suffused with quiet sadness, this story will stay with you long after you have done reading. Number 2 on my list is The Blue Umbrella by Ruskin. The Blue Umbrella narrates the story of Binya, a young girl from the remote hilly village, and an umbrella that brings various adventures to her life and teaches her the ultimate lessons of sacrifice, kindness, and letting go. Filled with scenic description and innocence, makes this story one of the sweetest short stories ever written. And no wonder why Ruskin is now synonymous to The Blue Umbrella. On number 3, I have The Crossing the Ravi by Gulzar. Gulzar, well known for his excellent storytelling skills, will impress you with this part biographical but wholly magical story. Having his own share of trauma and turmoil, the pathos of an individual transcend to family and society. The climax of the story can even be described as predictable. But while you're reading it, you can't help it but want to read on just to make sure if it happens or not. On number 4, I have A Horse and Two Goats by R.K. Narayan. There's no short story roundup without Narayan. While many praise Malgudi Days, my favorite one is about a simple man with debts at his local kirana store and how he ends up having enough for his desired drumstick curry. Narayan addresses many critical social issues through the use of humor instead of seriousness. Using the simplest of the settings, he has crafted a sensitive yet amusing story rich in situation comedy. I'm sure this short story would fill your heart. On number 5, I have The Portrait of a Lady by Khushwant Singh. I'm fairly certain everyone has read this in school. I even have this as a chapter in my class 11 NCERT. Talk about being lucky! And if you haven't read this yet, no worries, you can read it now. Portrait of a Lady is a heartwarming story of Khushwant Singh's grandmother who brought him up. The author describes his association with his grandmother and the changes that come about in their relationship over time. Merely describing the events of the story does not translate the power of it. One has to read it to understand its true beauty. Last and definitely not the least, I have The Gleamset Twilight by Anita Desai. I was meaning to read Anita Desai for the longest time, and there couldn't have been a better start than this one. The part that makes this story stand out from the rest is the way she made kids seem like adults, and she does this with sharp writing and beguiling words that it seems impossible to put down. Putting together this list, I realized there are more stories that are this close to my heart. So I'm also recommending you this anthology of which all these stories were part of, a clutch of Indian masterpieces by David Davidar. And that's it for my today's video. Let me know how you like my recommendation and what do you want me to come up with next. Book recommendations or movie recommendations. And you know the drill, like, subscribe and share. Till then, happy reading! Bye bye!